Hi, everyone. This is Connor from YCharts, and today we're talking about how U.S. presidential elections impact the stock market. The 2020 election is approaching, and advisors are hearing a ton of questions from their clients about what the election and its outcome might mean for their portfolios. To help you, YCharts created this free guide with downloadable visuals that explain some of the most common questions advisors hear from their clients. Visit go.ycharts.com/election guide to download yours for free today. We're going to start by going through some of those most impactful visuals from the guide, and then we'll jump into YCharts and I'll show you how to create and customize some charts and visuals which you can share with your clients, pass on to colleagues, or even use during one of those friendly conversations at Thanksgiving dinner. Let's get started. Starting in our PDF guide, when you download the guide, this is what you'll see. Each of the questions that are commonly asked and a corresponding visual that answers those questions. When you come across a chart that you like, simply click on it. It will open in a new tab. If you right-click and then select Save Image As, that image will be downloaded to your computer and you're free to use it as you wish. You can add your logo, you can add additional commentary, and then include it in an email, maybe post it on LinkedIn or Twitter. Once you download the visuals, they are yours to use. Let's talk about two of my favorite visuals within this guide. The first is this asset quilt that shows annualized asset class returns during each president's tenure in office. Now, this is what sets apart our guide from a few others you might find out there, is that we didn't just look at the broad market S&P 500 performance. We took it a few steps further. We looked at polling, we looked at election versus inauguration dates, and we also looked at these different asset classes, a few fixed income and a few equity. So you can see how things like US equities or treasuries or international equities have trended over the last few presidents, but I'll call your attention to the right side of the chart here. Looking at the averages of the last four presidents, that represents 30 years when Bill Clinton was inaugurated in the early 1990s. It's interesting to see that US equities have handily outperformed under Democrats versus Republicans, but emerging market equities have actually done better when Republicans are in office. So this is a great visual to use when you're talking about asset allocation decisions, and if you want to incorporate any information based on the political party that wins this year's elections. So that's a great visual, but one that's even more impactful in my opinion is this line chart of the S&P 500 performance under Republican and Democrat presidents. This goes all the way back to 1950, and what's most important to call out here is this long-term trend of growth in the market. Over the long term, the market has grown in value. And that's represented by these different positive and substantial growth periods, and some are red, some are blue. So you can see that the lesson for clients to learn is not that making material adjustments to your strategy based on the political party will reap huge returns and dividends, but rather staying invested is what really matters. And perhaps it's not even these presidents and parties in office that's really driving market performance, but rather broader macroeconomic events like coronavirus in 2020. But also if we look back at Jimmy Carter's presidency, a Democrat, for example, the late 70s and early 80s, there was a global oil crisis going on. So the market performance under Carter is relatively smaller than others because there was this huge macroeconomic event going on. The same thing can be said about George W. Bush. He inherited the market right near its peak of the dot-com bubble. And as that bubble burst, the market was playing catch up during the rest of his presidency. So once again, this chart really drives home that you shouldn't be making material changes to your investment strategy based on the president, because over the long term, the market performs whether it's a Democrat or a Republican anyway. So now I've shown you some of those impactful visuals from the guide. Let's take it into YCharts and I'll show you how to create some even more personalized visuals that you can send to specific clients. So I'm in YCharts here, and I'm on our fundamental charts tool, which you can access by hovering over tools and then clicking fundamental chart. I'm looking at the S&P 500 from 1950 to present, the same time frame that our election guide looked at, which encompasses 17 presidential elections. This is great to once again visualize that long-term trend of growth in the market, but let's make it a little bit more usable for today's investors who are our clients. I'll click date range and I'll switch from this month, day, year date selector to the full year, which is just a little bit easier and quicker when changing date ranges frequently. So I know that President Trump was inaugurated in 2017, and we're looking through the current year 2020. Now I can see the S&P 500 performance over that time. To make this even more of a story, let's add the US unemployment rate. And you can see how this auto search is auto completing what I'm searching for before I even finish. Very helpful YCharts feature. And I'll also add consumer sentiment. So these are two indicators that have gotten a lot of attention as coronavirus has started dominating headlines. One thing I need to fix before making this chart very usable is that the unemployment rate in orange here, since this is expressed as a percentage already, I don't want to view it as a percent change. I'll click annotate, and next to the unemployment rate, I'll say force original data format. And now you can see the 7.9%, probably closer to what you are used to seeing quoted in headlines or online. So another change that I'll make to this chart as I X out my head here, I'll click panel per financial metric. And what this does is separates my chart into separate panels, which is a little bit more digestible for clients looking at the chart. I'll switch from presentation view from off to on, and I'll add a title as well. So Trump presidency, that's the time frame we're looking at. Major market indicators. And we can see here that the Trump presidency, the S&P 500 has grown. Unemployment has also increased, especially as of late. And then U.S. consumer sentiment has been relatively flat until 2020. So this is a great visual to share with all of your clients or on social media, talking about how the market and some key indicators have moved under President Trump. We can click export in the top right here, download this as an image, or print out a hard copy. And a way that, like I said, this is a great visual to share with a lot of people, but we can make this really valuable for one or a few of our clients with just one quick change. So in my securities search bar, I'm going to search for a client portfolio. And this is a model portfolio that I've loaded into YCharts already. So if I hover over tools, our model portfolios tool here, and YCharts professional users know that with model portfolios, you not only get all those awesome portfolio level analytics and customizable PDF reports, but you also get the ability to pull in your portfolios throughout the YCharts platform, like I've done here in Fundamental Charts. So now my story is even better because I can say the S&P 500 has grown during Trump's presidency and the unemployment rate has grown as well. Consumer sentiment has declined. And through all this, our portfolio that this client is invested in has continued to outperform the market. A very quick update to this, if I just change my date format, I want to look at a different president's time in office. President Obama was inaugurated in 2009, served through, 2016. And here we have that same chart, which I'll update the title of to Obama presidency. And once again, we're telling a similar story over a different time frame. Now, this is great when we're talking about those political narratives, but we just said that perhaps it's really the macroeconomic events that are really driving the market, not so much who's in the White House. So if you look on the right side of my screen, you'll see this Quick Flows tab. When I open this, I get the Quick Flows menu, and YCharts created Quick Flows to take some of the most often repeated but impactful research workflows that financial advisors face and condense them into single-click efforts. So we're saving you even more time using YCharts. I'll enter in that client portfolio one more time. However, quick flows can be created using stocks or ETFs or mutual funds. And in here, I can see some pre-built analyses based on my portfolio's performance, based on its holdings. And finally, I'll draw your attention to this economic impact section. The very first one is coronavirus crisis. When I click there, it creates automatically for me, it creates a chart that shows my client portfolio in green versus the three major market averages. And as coronavirus took hold in February and March of this year, the market sold off. My portfolio went with it, but then throughout the recovery, my portfolio, once again in green, has kept pace with the major market averages and even outperformed as of late. So this is a great visual to share with a client when discussing coronavirus in general, but also saying there are some more important forces at play here, and we are well positioned to protect your portfolio throughout this uncertainty and volatility. So now we've seen some of the visuals in our PDF guide that you can download and use with your clients for free. Once again, visit go.ycharts.com/election guide to get your hands on those. Or if you want to start experimenting with fundamental charts, model portfolios, and quick flows, visit YCharts.com to start a free trial. Thank you.